just a funky new asset class. Crypto is really a whole new architecture of finance.
Hey there, future millionaires. Welcome back to the channel. It's so good to have you here with me again. I really hope you're crushing it today, no matter where you're tuning in from around this amazing world of ours. All right, let's dive right into what's happening with XRP today. I've got the daily chart pulled up here, and we're currently sitting at $2.55. Now here's what's interesting. Even though we got that rate cut today, XRP actually dipped along with the broader market. A lot of folks were saying this rate cut was already baked into the prices, while others were calling it a classic sell the news situation. And you know what? It looks like they were right. We definitely saw that sell-off happen. But here's the thing that's got me excited. XRP is still holding strong. We're literally only down about 10 cents. And if you've been following XRP lately, you know how quickly it can bounce back from a 10-cent dip. This isn't like those brutal bear market days we used to see. I'm actually pretty optimistic that XRP could rebound right alongside the rest of the market, especially if that big meeting between President Trump and President Xi goes smoothly with their trade discussions today. That could be a real game changer for market sentiment overall. That could get this market moving. And look at Bitcoin, back down to 110,000. Now, I know a lot of you out there are probably thinking, is this Bitcoin run actually over? I keep seeing comments about it, and I get it. The uncertainty can be nerve-wracking. But here's the thing. There's this analyst who's calling for Bitcoin to smash through its all-time high before we even hit New Year's Eve. And honestly, I'm totally on board with that prediction. I think we're far from done here, and this could just be the beginning of something really exciting. Look, here's my honest take on what I think is coming next. I believe Bitcoin has one massive push left in the tank before we see a major correction. And my timeline? I'm calling it for the end of 2025. Now, I know there's a ton of chatter out there about the 4-year cycle being completely dead, with some people saying Bitcoin's just going to keep running straight into the middle of next year. But here's where I stand. I think this whole party wraps up by December 2025. But, and this is important, I absolutely do not think we've hit the top yet. Not even close. Bitcoin still has some serious fireworks left to show us before this cycle runs its course. Fed lowers rate 25 basis points. And get this, he also dropped a hint that caught everyone's attention. He basically said that December rate cut, yeah, it's not a sure thing anymore. And what happened next? You guessed it. Bitcoin immediately took a dive down to 110,000. Classic market reaction right there. Guys, I have to tell you, I am so excited for the day when XRP's price is actually driven by real-world utility instead of just following Bitcoin around like a lost puppy. Think about it. Once we get genuine utility powering XRP's price action, we're finally going to break free from Bitcoin's grip. And honestly, I can't wait to see what XRP looks like when it's dancing to its own beat instead of copying Bitcoin's every move. The whole market dynamic is going to be completely different. But here's the thing. We need one crucial piece of the puzzle first. Clear regulations. Once those regulatory guidelines are in place, that's when the floodgates open for serious institutional money. I'm not talking about a few hedge funds dipping their toes in the water. I'm talking about massive institutional adoption. And when that happens, that's when utility-driven cryptocurrencies like XRP really start to shine and show their true potential. Ripple News Report reveals XRP ETF launch timeline. All right, so here's some big news that just dropped. According to this report, we've got 7 US XRP ETF applications sitting on the SEC's desk right now, and they're all under review. Now here's the timeline we're looking at. The SEC is expected to make their decisions somewhere between October 18th and November 14th. This comes right after they approved those new generic listing standards for spot crypto ETFs back in September, which was actually a pretty big deal. But get this, Polymarket is showing something incredible. They're putting the odds at greater than 99% that the SEC will approve a spot XRP ETF by the end of 2025. That's basically saying it's a done deal. That kind of confidence tells us that major institutions are expecting XRP to join the big leagues alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana in the US ETF market. Now, I've been seeing tons of speculation in the comments and across social media. People keep saying these ETFs are going live this week, next week. Everyone's trying to predict the exact moment. But honestly, I don't think we'll see them go live until the government fully reopens. Here's my take. I still believe we need Atkins to give his official sign-off on these XRP spot ETFs. Look, they're absolutely going to get approved. That's inevitable at this point. It's really just a question of timing. And from what I'm seeing, a lot of people think they're deliberately holding off until after Ripple's swell wraps up. Now, here's where I might disagree with some folks out there. I honestly don't think Ripple's swell has anything to do with when these spot XRP ETFs get the green light. That's just my opinion, but I think those are two completely separate things. But check this out. XRP is sitting pretty at number 3 on the ETF filing list right now. And guys, we could be looking at a mega XRP bounce that's just waiting to explode. Look at these numbers. Since 2024 started, we've seen 20 ETF filings for XRP. 20! That's absolutely insane when you think about it. And here's my advice to you. When those ETFs finally go live, you better make sure you're holding this cryptocurrency in your portfolio. Because once that institutional money starts flowing in, XRP is going to absolutely break out in ways we haven't seen before. This could be the catalyst we've all been waiting for. XRP will easily become a $1 billion ETF in its first months. Okay, so here's something really interesting. Matt Hogan from Bitwise just made a bold prediction. He's saying that an XRP exchange-traded fund will easily hit $1 billion in assets. Just like that. Now, here's what's funny. A lot of crypto insiders are actually being pretty bearish about this whole thing. But you know what? That doesn't matter one bit. Because the real XRP believers out there, they're going to drive money into these ETFs way beyond what anyone's expecting. And honestly, I think these XRP ETFs are going to completely blow past Jamie Dimon's predictions. He was calling for somewhere between $6 to $8 billion flowing into XRP ETFs. But here's my take. I think we're going to see even more money than that pouring in. Why? Because I genuinely believe people are massively underestimating just how much demand there is for XRP out there. The appetite is way bigger than most people realize, and when these ETFs go live, I think we're all going to be surprised by the numbers we see. Guys, check this out. XRP reserves on Binance just dropped to 2.74 billion XRP, and you know what that tells me? Smart money is quietly accumulating in the background while everyone else is sleeping on this opportunity. We're already seeing XRP literally vanishing from exchanges, and that's happening right now, when things are still relatively calm. So here's the million-dollar question. What do you think is going to happen when FOMO really kicks in? When everyone and their grandmother suddenly wants to buy XRP? I'm telling you, we could be looking at genuine scarcity during this cycle. And when supply gets tight while demand explodes, that's when things get really, really interesting for XRP holders. Okay, this is absolutely wild. Whales just accumulated over $560 million worth of XRP this week alone. According to Sentiment, these smart money players definitely know something we don't. Here's the thing about whales. When they keep loading up on a cryptocurrency like this, it's usually because they have that gut instinct that something big is about to happen. They can smell a breakout coming from a mile away. So let's connect the dots here. We've got whales aggressively accumulating XRP. We're watching it disappear from exchanges in real time, and we're sitting right on the edge of retail FOMO kicking in. This is like watching a powder keg being assembled piece by piece. Because I'm telling you, the second XRP actually breaks out and starts running, the FOMO is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. People are going to wake up one morning and be like, wait, what? How is there no XRP left on the exchanges? And that could legitimately happen this cycle. Now imagine layering ETF approvals on top of that. Then add in the possibility of clear regulations finally getting put in place, which I believe will trigger massive institutional adoption at the exact same time. Guys, we're looking at a perfect storm brewing for XRP. All these pieces are falling into place simultaneously, and when they all hit at once, that's when things get really interesting. Solana just took a major shot at Ripple. XRP Army says Western Union will go bankrupt. So Michael made this absolutely brilliant point. He said this company will be bankrupt before it even moves $1 billion on Solana. Then he dropped this perfect analogy. You keep focusing on Blockbuster, I'll focus on Netflix. I mean, that's just chef's kiss right there. And you know what? He's absolutely right. We're talking about a remittance platform here, which is exactly where Western Union has been making their money hand over fist. But here's the problem. Their fees are absolutely ridiculous, and the wait times don't even get me started. Now, I've been seeing rumors that Solana actually paid Western Union to use their blockchain. I can't confirm that either way, but honestly, here's what I don't understand. Why would you even care about Western Union when you're holding XRP? Think about this for a second. XRP has gotten mentions from the IMF, the BIS, the World Bank, and pretty much every major central bank on the planet. And you're worried about Western Union creating some stablecoin on Solana, a network that goes down more often than my internet during a storm? Picture this scenario. Remittances are flying around the world and suddenly, boom! Network congestion hits and Solana crashes. Can you imagine how absolutely furious people are going to be? They're already paying sky-high fees and dealing with forever wait times, and now the network just dies on them? This isn't the future, folks. This is the past trying to dress up in new clothes. This is exactly the problem Ripple set out to solve years ago, and they've been building the real solution this whole time. Now here's something really important that Smoke pointed out, and honestly not enough people are talking about this. Solana's price can be artificially pumped up, while XRP's price actually depends on real, organic demand and genuine utility. A lot of people completely miss how easy it is to manufacture these massive price surges. Perfect example? Back in January 2025, Solana's price absolutely exploded. We're talking a 63% jump. And why? Because Trump-themed tokens launched on their network. But here's the kicker. That surge wasn't based on any real growth or adoption. It was completely artificial. Think about it. When those tokens launched, people had to buy Solana to purchase them, which created this fake demand that temporarily pumped the price way up. It's like inflating a balloon with hot air. Sure, it looks impressive for a while, but there's nothing substantial holding it up. Meanwhile, XRP is building real value through actual utility and organic adoption. That's the difference between a house of cards and a solid foundation. Now, XRP, that's a completely different story. XRP is built on genuine organic demand and real-world utility, not hype and speculation. Here's something huge that people don't always realize. XRP's supply is permanently capped at 100 billion tokens. That means no new XRP can ever be created to water down the value of what you're holding. It's like having a limited edition collectible that will never have more copies made. But here's what really sets XRP apart. Its strength doesn't come from people just hoping the price goes up. It comes from actual adoption and real use cases. XRP literally secures the Ripple network and acts as this incredible bridge currency for international payments. And the beautiful thing? As Ripple's protocol keeps expanding around the world, the demand for XRP grows right alongside it. It's not artificial pump and dump action. It's natural, sustainable growth based on people actually using the technology for real financial transactions. That's the kind of foundation you want your investment built on. Real utility, not just wishful thinking. And that right there is the difference between engineered hype that fizzles out and real, lasting value that stands the test of time. When investors actually take the time to dig deep and study what's really driving XRP's demand, the picture becomes crystal clear. And the best part? It's all documented. You can verify everything yourself. But here's what cracks me up. Everyone's always shouting about how this coin or that coin is better than XRP, or calling themselves the XRP killer. It's like every week there's a new self-proclaimed champion ready to take down XRP. But here's what these people completely miss. Ripple has the patents. They own the intellectual property. More importantly, Ripple has already built the rails. We're talking about over a decade of infrastructure development, partnerships, and regulatory groundwork that's already in place and functioning. You can't just replace that overnight. If someone wanted to compete with what Ripple has built, they'd have to start from scratch right now and wait until about 2035 to get all the necessary infrastructure in place. By then, XRP will be so far ahead, it won't even be a competition anymore. And that's exactly why XRP isn't just a good investment. It is the future, and it always will be. We're standing on the brink of the Internet of Value becoming reality, and XRP is at the center of it all. Actually, you know what? Don't just take my word for it. Let's hear directly from the experts. Check out what Giancarlo have to say about this.
Crypto is more than just a funky new asset class. Crypto is really a whole new architecture of finance. It's an internet-based architecture of finance. You know, the earlier wave of the internet, the one we're all familiar with, the Internet of Information, was all about computers talking to each other. Well, now we're on the verge of a new wave of the internet. It's no longer about computers talking to each other. It's about computers transacting with each other. And they're going to do that in the form of digital tokens. Computers are not going to contact your bank to make payments to another computer. They're going to find direct means through tokenized units of value to pay for things, whether those are stable coins, which are basically tokens pegged to the dollar, or other forms of digitized value tokens. That's the future of the 21st century.
Think about this for a second. In the very near future, people are going to be paying each other with cryptocurrency as naturally as we send text messages today. And guess what? You're already holding what I like to call robot money, the currency that's going to power this whole new world. As a crypto investor, you're not just investing in digital assets, you're literally positioning yourself at the intersection of the fourth and fifth industrial revolutions happening right now at the same time. How incredible is that? And the Internet of Value? It's not some distant dream anymore. It's absolutely coming, and it's coming fast. You're getting in on the ground floor of the biggest financial transformation in human history. All right, let's check in on XRP's price action today. Right now, XRP is holding pretty steady around the $2.63 mark. Now, we have seen the price pull back a bit since our last update, but here's what all the smart traders are keeping their eyes on: that crucial $2.80 resistance zone. This is a really important level that could tell us a lot about where XRP is headed next. So that $2.80 level, that's our key battleground right there. If XRP can punch through that resistance, we're looking at a clear path above $3, and that's when things could get really exciting. Now here's what I'm watching closely today. Let's see how that big meeting between the US and China plays out. That news could be a real game changer for the entire market, including XRP. If that news comes back bullish, I'm fully expecting the entire crypto market to bounce back strong. Now, could we see things dip a little lower before we rocket higher? Absolutely. That's always a possibility. But here's what's amazing about XRP right now. You watch a dip happen, and that rebound comes just as fast. This isn't like back in 2022 when XRP would drop 5 cents and then take 2 whole weeks just to crawl back up those same 5 cents. Those painful, slow-moving days are completely behind us now. These days, XRP is moving 5, 10, even 20 cents at a time, sometimes in a single day. We're in a completely different era of crypto now, and that's exactly why I have to laugh when people tell me holding XRP is boring. You want to know what boring was? That was boring. Back when we'd sit here watching paint dry for months, hoping to see XRP move even 10 cents. Now, it can move 10 cents before you finish your morning coffee. I'm telling you, we're standing right on the edge of the most exciting times in XRP's history. The really wild stuff is almost here. We just need to hang tight until XRP's rocket ship is ready for takeoff. So until that moment comes, stay patient, stay positive, and let's build wealth together, future millionaires. All right, that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for being here with me. Seriously. You all are amazing. I'll catch you in the next one, and until then, have an absolutely fantastic night.